Good night, good night. Hopefully the audio's good. I changed position of my phone holder to where it's in a different spot in the car. So you won't see any more videos or see like me driving. Been spending a lot of time thinking as always, and always want to come out, one, express myself. This is a form of meditation, a form of expression, a form of coping, venting, and more so than ever, and more so than anything, I should say, it's a way of me saying, hey, these are the things that I'm going through, and these are the ways I've solved that problem. So first off, good news. I'm going to pay off another debt. That's really cool. I owed like about 15 grand to BB&T. I've been paying it off slowly throughout the years, and now I'm finally about to pay off the whole thing. It would have been to the point where if I would have let it gone out the full length, I would have paid it off in 2020, like June of 2022. And I was just like, no, fuck that shit. So I was actually able to say, nah, fuck that shit. So even with me quitting my night job, that has already gone through. My last day, I think, was last week, Tuesday. Today is the 21st of August. So I was able to quit that, and I do feel better. I'm getting more sleep, of course. I haven't been feeling too well, but I've been getting through it and everything else like that. But you know, like a little mini flu. I could say it's the flu or it's nothing serious, because I'm able to take cough medicine and sleep it off and get better over time. So that's really good. What I've been doing lately, there's been a lot of good and positive things. As far as the business goes for the salon, my business partner wants to take our shares pretty much at no cost to him, which makes sense because there's nothing but debt and liability in that company. So for me to get rid of it and give it away, or give away my shares, would actually be a benefit to me in the long run, or in the short term, I should say. In the long run, possible benefit, possible loss of an upside. I don't think there'll be an upside, and also, even if there was, could I survive the downside of it all, which is paying stuff out of pocket and things like that, and just not really believing in a business and trying to keep it alive just because I don't want to let go. So I got the paperwork. I haven't signed it yet. I've been traveling a little bit. Well, I only did like 1 weekend of this, but I haven't signed it yet. But pretty much I got to sign it, get it notarized. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Tomorrow I have to pay off I have to put in a check for my last payment for BB&T, because their online app just weird. It says it won't allow me to pay. It won't allow me to pay an amount exceeding the value of the debt or whatever. So it's kind of weird. So the payoff amount is always more than, say, whatever your balance is, because of, you know, I don't know why. I've never looked it up or anything else like that, so I can't say I forgot. But anyways, while I'm at the bank tomorrow, I'm going to have that paperwork notarized and take it from there, really. That should be a good thing, very positive thing right there. That indemnification, once I put that paperwork in, my other business partner is going to put that paperwork in, and we're both going to give up our shares, which is 66% in total, and he'll have 100% of the shop. I do wish him luck. I do wish he can actually turn this around. He probably may be able to get some loans or something like that to get him out of this this downturn, or get him through this downturn, I should say. But to be honest, I'm just not going to wait for it. I just can't do it anymore, and I just don't. As a capitalist, like, hey, listen, cut the freaking arm off, cut the finger off before it takes the whole hand, you know, and so on and so forth from that point on. So I'm just trying to get rid of it as best as possible and move on and move to other things. Now, let's get to the good stuff, right? Again, I think I have like one more debt out there that I can settle. It doesn't always look good on your credit, but at least it gets it off, or it gets that portion of it, in a sense, settled, and you know, you kind of close that off. You get out a little bit cheaper than you got in. Also, there's going to be tax implications because of that. Probably get a 1099-C for writing off that much debt. I could probably settle that card for about $6-7 grand, maybe even $5, lump sum payment, and it's the total amount is like 22 grand, and with that I should be able to I'll probably get like a 1099-C at the end of the year for about 15 grand, because it's 22 grand, which is what I owe on that. Again, this is from the shop. The BB&T from the shop, the Amex that I paid off a couple months ago from the shop, this Chase card that I'm talking about that I owe the 22 grand on and I want to settle, that's again from the shop. So paying off those debts and kind of closing that part of business off and kind of settling things and, you know, getting to a better spot with that financially and getting my credit score looking a lot better. My big thing is to push to get a home. That's why the money that I took for that shop was going to be used to get a home and possibly, you know, like get a nice little home and like a forever home, if you will, or just something that I can live in until I move on to my next thing. Probably do an FHA or something like that. I'm weighing that out. I'm not liking FHA because I can't get out of the PMI, but PMI in certain states or certain loans is like $150. I mean, that's like your cable bill if you're getting like crazy internet and all this other stuff. But that $150, yes, it would be good to have and save. Sometimes you can refinance out of it. In some cases you cannot. But if you refinance out of it, you would either take the equity out of your home, I believe, and then put that towards your refinance and maybe bring a couple $1,000s to the closing table just to make sure that you can actually close out that loan and refinance out of a PMI situation or MIP situation, whichever one you have. What I plan on doing is just exploring my options. I've already applied for the pre-qualification letter. With the pre-qualification letter, I can start looking at homes within a certain range. Also, I can gauge myself. I've already gone for and gotten my credit from myfico.com, which is the people that run FICO, and they get all your credit from all 3 different bureaus. So I've pulled that. It takes about $60 to pull that, and again, it's not a hard pull or anything like that because you're requesting it. But it just aggregates everything from all the different credit bureaus, which is nice. It shows my score at about 690 and 700 in some cases, depending on the actual bureau, like TransUnion, Equifax. So Equifax is the one for Southeast region of the U.S., or I think the South or the East region of the U.S. But Equifax has me about at a 699 general credit score. So that means usually if I'm going out for credit cards or any type of financing, they're usually going to go for that 699. There are different credit scores that you have. The credit scores or the credit score scheme or credit score model they use for homes, I'm actually in the 700s. So that's really good. I can get a decent interest rate on a loan, and I can do a couple other things, or I can just qualify for different programs. So that's really, really nice. So I could take that credit score over there, that 700 about. That 700 thereabouts, and make a move from there. So what I plan on doing is, it's going to take a while or a second to show that, hey, this BB&T is already paid off. I have already applied for the pre-qualification, so it's going to show that the BB&T is there. I have to show that I did pay it off. Then they can see, oh, okay, hey, listen, even though it's on the credit report, it just hasn't fallen off yet. I have to talk to whoever's doing the loan for me and ask them, like, you know, what's the best thing to do? Because if I have this credit score, I just need some advice. If I have this credit score currently, what happens if I do the settlement? Does that look good? Does that look bad? What should I do in the long term? I've been told by a credit professional that the person that cleaned up my credit last time so I can get all these loans for the shop and all these different cards and stuff. The cards weren't necessarily for the shop at the time, but I did use them eventually for the shop. But I boosted my credit score quite a bit using her services. Essentially, she just cleaned up a lot of old stuff, and then I was able to be in a better place from that. There's a lot of stuff I did have to pay, plus her services and fees and stuff like that. She comes with a monthly retainer of some sort. With that, I'm not sure if I want to do that, because the only thing I have left is that settlement. So it's kind of like, what's the point? Though the point is, maybe she can actually get it off. I doubt she can, because there's records and everything that, hey, I was paying on this debt, and I know this debt is mine legit. So you have to look at that like, hey, some debts you're just not going to get out of. Just pay it, settle it, whatever, you know, or go from there. So I'm looking into getting a house this past weekend. So that was the weekend of the 15th, 15th, 16th. Last weekend I was up in Georgia, and I was looking for homes. I was like all the way in the damn mountains of freaking Georgia. I gotta post some video of that. But we were on I-19. It's a beautiful drive on the way back. Me and my homegirl, we were just like going out there because she's thinking about going to Georgia. We visited one of our friends from high school, her best friend. I'm an acquaintance of mine. I know her. So we visited her and went to her house, and we stayed the night over there, which is great because it was a little bit cheaper, of course, instead of paying for a motel. And it was just good vibes, good time all together. It was awesome. Like, that was really, really fun. I've never really liked road trips or anything, but that was a pretty easy drive, thankfully. Maybe because I was motivated, maybe she was there with me, so that was pretty cool. Me and this girl have been friends for since childhood, since we were 5, 6 or something like that. So we've known each other for a while since she moved into the neighborhood. So Desi and I we drove up into the mountains, bruh. The mountains of freaking Georgia. Yo, when I say I was scared out my motherfucking mind, bro, oh my God, I could not but freaking leave it. We were in the mountains. It's to the point where if you looked over to the side, because I was on the passenger side, or I was the passenger in the front seat, and then my homegirl's driving, but she's driving kind of fast through these hills and shit, because not that she knows it, but she's used to it now, right? Driving like that in Georgia. And I was like, yo, if you don't slow down, calm down, yo, what you doing, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm not used to all these elevations and the way she's cutting these fucking corners. I'm like, yo, calm the fuck down, because I'm losing it. So I'm looking over, right? You got the white line in the road, but when you're a passenger, that white line seems like it's like you would open the door and you'd be over it. Like, you know, you're already like a tire over. But literally she's not, because if I looked in the side mirror, I could see that she has space in between her and the line. But I'm losing it because I'm looking out through the windshield and everything. So we're in the mountains of Georgia looking at houses. I'm wondering, why is this house 3,100 square feet? Nice mountain view and everything like that. Doesn't seem too bad in terms of elevation from Google Maps, because I can see the Google Maps street view. I was like, oh, okay, this isn't too bad. This might be a nice house. It's kind of secluded, out of the way. You know, North Georgia, Chattanooga's probably about 30 minutes. I got to drive south down the mountain and then go back north just to get to Chattanooga. It says it's like 15 miles, but why does 15 miles take 30 minutes? This is weird. Huh, well, let's go and check it out. We go up there, man. I haven't been so scared in my life in a while. I'm looking over into over the line, past that line. There's no soft shoulder. There's no fucking guardrail. There's nothing but a fucking drop. A drop. A straight fucking drop. We are in the mountains, motherfucker. They make moonshine up here and examples out of people like you. You know, some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you gonna marry my daughter, bitch. You know, it wasn't that crazy, but I mean, there's a guy and there was a guy driving around with a fucking golf cart. But we're literally hitting driveways. We're going up the driveway, and it's probably or driving of one of these properties, and it's probably about a 30-degree angle just for the driveway. Meaning my homegirl, she has a Lincoln MKZ, you know, vehicle's moving nice and everything else like that. She goes up the driveway, bro, she's starting to skid because the driveway's not fully paved. It's just gravel and a little bit of mountain soil and shit like that. So it's red, and it's like, oh yeah, like no traction whatsoever. Her car can't get a fucking grip. And I'm like, oh God, what the fuck? Holy shit. And I'm like, yo, one wrong move. She has to do like a 4-point turn just to get out of this driveway because the little road that leads towards the driveway, well, that little road, that little road there that leads towards the driveway, the other side of that has no guardrail and is a straight drop. When I told her, I was like, yo, listen, if you would have tapped on that gas instead of that brake, we would have been a motherfucking casualty. A far gone conclusion. A memory in the minds of the people that we love. I was losing it. Then we get straight on the road again, right? Because we had to go into the driveway to turn up and everything like that. I look at the property, like we finally make it to the property after like a roller coaster ride of turns and all types of other shit. And we get to the property and I'm like, I told my homegirl, I was just like, nah, man, I'm not buying this shit. Like, you ain't coming down from this mountain at least but like maybe once a fucking week. You ain't coming down here. I don't even know how fucking 18-wheelers make it up here. This shit don't even make no fucking sense. And I was like, no wonder this shit is 3,100 square feet sitting on 15 acres. You probably got maybe a 1/4 acre that your house sits on, and then the rest is a fucking cliff. So you owning nothing but fucking forest, no flatland whatsoever. You ain't fucking doing nothing in that backyard. Oh my God, just to get up to the front door. Just to get up to the front door looked like it was a fucking trek to do that. It was crazy. Like, and I was literally paranoid and scared. Like, I really was. I was like, holy shit, like, why am I feeling like this? But damn, you look over, gully side, that's it. You're falling off. You go in a ditch up there, AAA ain't coming after you, man. You go in a ditch up there, it's going to take about a day or two before they even get up there. One, if you go in the gully and fall off, oh shit, fire rescue. You better pray to your Jesus. You better pray to your Lord and Savior. Because ain't nobody coming to get your fuck ass out of that shit. Ain't nobody telling you to go up there, bitch. Looking for houses and shit. Call yourself a house hunter, Mike. You fucking crazy. So that shit was mad fucking hilarious at the end of it. We coming down but when I say that was probably, besides all that, that was probably one of the most beautiful sights to actually see that, hey, listen, we're going up this mountain. I wish I took video of it, but I was just so fucking scared out of my fucking mind. We're going up this mountain. Beautiful sight. You see it, like you're on the flat portion, a little bit of elevation, then you're seeing, oh, we're going up that. We're about to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. This is crazy. So I call my homegirl, and since then I've called her the fucking Sherpa, because she's the mountain Sherpa that helps us get up to the damn to the peak and shit. So we riding down, we finally coming down from the hill and shit like that. I'm calming down. Some of the most beautiful sights, clear day. But it's crazy when you're looking up, right? You're on the road, and then you're looking up to somebody, and that's on their property that, again, damn near a 30-degree angle, just so you can get up to their property. And you look up, and the dude's literally on a plateau, because you're looking up at this person. This dude is literally on a plateau mowing his lawn. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why even mow that shit? Who's coming up there to look at it? I mean, you know, he's looking at his own lawn and all this other shit, of course. But, you know, in my head, I'm thinking irrationally anyway. I'm like, who the fuck's coming up there to look at your fucking lawn, bitch? Ain't nobody care about your fucking lawn being cut. And then all you gotta do is just misjudge it a little bit, and you over the side of the fucking hill. Literally, the dude property, like, yo, this dude was on a plateau. If he would have just went a little bit farther, he would have fell off that bitch, mowing his goddamn lawn. Obituary. Crazy shit. But that was one of the houses. I'm looking for semi-distressed properties where they need some TLC. Homes basically that I can actually fix up over time. Go on Pinterest.com and say, hey, I want that kitchen with this floor and this over here in this room. So I'm not looking for newer properties. I'm looking for older ones. I just need really just not like, hey, I need the roof, the plumbing, and electrical work so I can actually do electrical to all work so I can do all the jobs and everything that's necessary, pay contractors, do some of the stuff myself, so I can make the place look like I want it to in the end. I feel this is going to be something where I'm a person that's about stability. I'm not into getting a place and then moving and moving and moving. That's not me. That's not what I do. I've never really been into that. I've lived in the same house for over 30 years, you know, like, and I talked to my mom and I told her, it's like, hey, listen, will you be okay if I leave? And she says, Mike, listen, go ahead and do what you got to do. It's been time, you know, like, she's never pushed me out. Even when I said, hey, I'll get an apartment up there, she's like, hey, listen, don't do that. Just get a house straight up. And I was like, well, I need to learn the area and see what area I want to live in, because I don't want to just go up there, move into a house or an area, and I just don't like the area eventually, you know, I want to be able to adapt to the area and say, hey, this is a decent enough area that I can say, okay, no problem, I'll stay. So I've been looking in Albany, Georgia right now. After that whole mountain climbing experience where I was scared shit, I said, hey, listen, I'm not going to be looking for anything in upper mid, like past Atlanta, Georgia, nothing in the mountains. I'm not about that life. I need to stay on flat land. Also, I want some acreage, and I want that acreage to be flat so I can build things on it over time. Saw a couple homes I liked on the way back that were kind of nice. Some were like super out of the way, and I was like, yo, what the fuck am I even picking here? You know, you get what you pay for, but also, like, if you want a lot of land in certain areas and you want a decent house on that land per se, and you haven't built it yourself, yeah, Georgia country is fuck. Georgia's country is fuck, okay? I mean, Florida is too, to a certain extent, but if you drive on a Florida highway, you're not going to see too much open land in, like, the bottom 3 counties or even the bottom 4 counties. Like, you get to West Palm Beach, from there on, it's all, like, one big-ass fucking city. Let me drive a little bit faster on this highway. It's all, like, one big-ass city. So, like, you know, it's not like, you know, you have a lot of pastures and shit like that. You see that every so often, but once you, like, I'm a city slicker, you could call it that. And this is a small fucking city compared to, like, larger cities like your Chicago or what have you. But everything is manicured. Everything has grass and palm trees and all this other shit. So you don't really see it where all these things are, you don't see it where you have all this free space, if you will. Georgia, I-19 from, like, say, Atlanta area, but take, like, I think it's like I-19 from Fayetteville. Excuse me. So Fayetteville, and you have to get, we had to get on I-19. I have to say, that is probably the most scenic, beautiful route that I have ever taken in my fucking life. I-19 Georgia, from, like, Fayetteville on down. Because, like, you gotta take Fayetteville, and then Fayetteville's not where I-19 starts or where we caught it. We caught it in another area. But I was impressed. Like, the farms and everything out there, you could see where, like, there was big ass rivers and everything like that, and all these big these nice creeks. You saw where it's like, oh my God, hey, listen, there's no soft shoulder, be careful. You know, you don't want to end up in no fucking ditch. Ain't nobody gonna come find your fucking ass, that type of shit. But then you see actual farmland where people took that same land where we would see, like, hey, a ton of trees, we'd see a drop off. We wouldn't even know where the bottom is, if you will, you know, of those, like, trees in that land. But you see where people have taken that, and it's like rolling hills, and they've cut down all the trees, and now it's rolling hills for pasture, for cattle grazing and stuff like that. So it was just like, holy crap, this is beautiful. It was a bright sunny day. We didn't have any real bad weather or anything like that. I-19 is probably one of the best paved roads that I saw in Georgia. It was better than a road that I even saw in roads that I see here in Florida. I mean, I was just impressed with just the view and the scenery of that. Definitely suggest, if you ever run through Georgia, I-19 is fucking amazing. But with that, I mean, you know, I'm trying to put myself together and get ready to move into the next phase of my quote unquote life here, you know. And I'm happy. I'm sad, but I'm also happy. I was down for a little bit, but I'm sad that, you know, I wish I was in a different spot. I wish I was in a different position. But at the same time, if I'm in a position to even get a home and afford a home and do this off of one job, you know, that's way better than a lot of people are in. I'm paying off debt instead of accruing more debt, you know. So I'm doing a lot better than most people, a lot better than what I was back in November. November was horrible for me. From like, I think August and September, yeah. Around August all the way to November was probably some of my worst months in recent history. I have those every couple months or every couple years, sadly. But now I've been able to amass a decent amount of assets between silver, stocks, cryptocurrencies, and I was also. What do you want me to do? I'm gonna move over. Oh, okay. Sorry, there's a cop just flashing their lights and stuff. So I've been able to amass probably about 28 grand in assets. So that's really good. None of that's savings or anything else like that. That's all in between cryptocurrencies, stocks. Actually, let me get over here. That's all in cryptocurrencies, stocks, and things like that. So that's actually done very well for me, thankfully. And now what I'm working on is looking a lot better credit-wise to actually go ahead and go for a home and make that move. And when I look for a home, I'm looking for something, you know, I've been looking for over 50 acres and stuff, but I'm like, you know, cutting that back. There's, you know, what you get for that, like you'll get a home and everything, but you have to be careful. Also the price range. I'm looking at houses that are about 180 grand. I was looking at 250 to 300, and I just did the numbers budget-wise. I would have to wait a little bit longer, which isn't a bad thing. I could probably get a lot better pickings later on once a lot of these foreclosures come up and there's auctions and stuff like that. Sadly, you know, one man's trash or one man's debt is another man's, you know, asset, if you will. If I was to, you know, if I have that type of latitude there. But you know, if I can save up even more, amass even more assets, because I don't really want to sell my assets, because I would have to sell my assets to actually put on a decent down payment and cover closing costs for a home. I would have to put quite a bit down. So I would have to sell quite a bit, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to get rid of my cryptocurrencies. I don't want to get rid of my stocks, one of them being Tesla, and that's doing very well. So I don't want to do any of that. So because of that, I probably will just calm down, see what this pre-qualification letter says. There is a house in Albany, Georgia that I'm gonna go back up to Georgia this weekend, actually. But there's a house in Albany, Georgia that I've been looking at, and I like the way that looks. And it's about like 15 acres, 1,600 square feet, has a barn. The Google Maps data shows that house is in total disrepair. It looked like total shit. Somebody's fixed it up really nice, renovated it, and it's an open floor plan home, 1,600 square feet, nothing too big, but it has sitting on 15 acres and has a nice little barn, which has also been renovated with new roof, painted, and all that other stuff. So that's really nice. Selling for about like 189 grand. I'll probably move to say like 175, maybe even less than that. Put an offer for it. It's been on Zillow for about 100 something days, so we'll see what happens. Also, there's another home that has been on Zillow for 200 something days. It's a larger property in McDonough area, Georgia, or in Griffin, Georgia, actually, Spalding County. And that home also it's kind of different, you know. It has like this Asian feel to it. They said it looks real nice. It says 3,800 square feet, but what happened is they have two other smaller properties on there, like apartments. One is an addition to the original home that's connected via a breezeway, so it's not like a close connection. And then another property is probably about, that addition is probably about that addition slash apartment is probably about 1,200 square feet or 1,000 something square feet. And then the other one, which is a whole apartment by itself, totally separate with all the amenities and everything else like that, or sorry, kitchen and all that other stuff, and water hookup. That's probably about 1,200 square feet. And then the house itself is about 1,600. Sitting on 10 acres of land, close to the McDonough area of Georgia. And McDonough's pretty, it's outside suburbs of Atlanta. So pretty nice, very impressed with it. It's a rundown, it's an older one. They said, you know, roof is good, electrical is good, plumbing's good. Got to go there and look at it. Of course, has to go through inspection and appraisal. But that's looking at about 180. I asked the guy, I was like, hey, listen, are they stuck on 180? And he's like, no, it's negotiable. And I was like, all right, cool. So I'll probably come in probably at 160 for that. And then go through and do all the rehab over time. One thing I have to do is make sure that the basement looks decent. Make sure it's not in total disrepair. And that I can actually do something with it in terms of, you know, making everything good on there. Not the basement, not just the basement, but the home itself in total, or in its entirety. So, okay, so this BB&T is here. I did not know this branch was here. Are they closed? I mean, they're closed right now, of course, but like, are they closed permanently? All right, I'll be coming back here tomorrow morning, or in a couple hours when they open, and paying off this last bit of debt. I'm just going through this BB&T here. I just wanted to make sure. I've never really been to this branch, so I want to make sure it's there. And I'm kind of driving aimlessly right now, so got nothing else to do, and I'm not tired. So with this home, it's probably about 1,600. I'm probably gonna go for. Sorry, I'm probably gonna go in at 160 grand. With that, I can do quite a bit, I believe, with that home over time. But I'm kind of like looking at it. It's like, you know, it's sitting on 10 acres of land. I can easily rent the two of the sections out, those two sections out, and actually be positive in that home. Probably even have it where it pays the mortgage and everything for me. And then eventually it's a ranch style home, so it's single story. It says it has a basement, but I haven't seen pictures of the basement, the other additions, or inside the other additions, or the backyard. So I'm gonna be going to look at that. I asked the realtor, he hasn't been able to make it over there. Okay, so not the realtor, but the listing, not just the realtor, but he's a listing agent on that. So I'm looking at this as like, okay, I can go there, see what it's like. It might be a total fucking horror story, and, you know, probably fill my lungs up with mold or some shit. Or it could be like, hey, this is decent enough, maybe I'll take the risk on it and go from there. I know that's not the best thing to think of when you're talking about your first home, but if I can get this home and get everything looking good, then I can get to a point where I can take this home and, you know, my family can come live up there, like my mom and my dad, and with that we could be in a better position in total, you know. That'd be really nice. So like if I have two separate quarters, my parents have been separated since '98. So if I have like two separate areas, then I can actually do, you know, I can start doing some construction, or sorry, not construction, but I can actually have them there and then pay all the bills, and they be living on site, and it's still like one freaking home. I don't have to build anything extra. It's already done. So I'm looking at it long term and saying, okay, my parents should be cool. Then if anything happens to them, I have the same property. I don't have to put them in a home or anything else like that. I just have to get caregivers and stuff, and they'll be right there on the property with me. So I think that's going to be a really good thing in the long term in terms of just thinking about my parents. I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, I've been blabbing on and on, but I'm getting close to the end of my drive here, because it's about time for me to go home. It's 4:22 in the morning on Friday, so last day of the week for work. I need to get some sleep and wake up so I can go ahead and pay off this debt. Excuse me. I could do that anytime tomorrow, though. Excuse me. Probably even on a lunch break. I ate. So another reason why I'm driving is I want to digest my food without going to lay down. But yeah, so a lot can happen. A lot has happened since that last upload. That last upload, I probably held on to it for about a week or two before I actually put it out there. But some really good things have happened. So it hasn't been too long since my last upload, but that last upload was already like pretty old. So with that being said, thanks as always for listening. I hope this helps somebody in terms of like my thought process. I hope my expressions and my venting helps people in some way, shape, or form. And I hope it, I hope my life can improve so I can show other people how to do one or two things, or at least they can see how my life has gotten bad in some areas, and they can see what not to do. But as always, thanks for listening. Peace.